Dr. Dorina Ebuwa is an astounding human being. Very few people have been able to be recognized by former presidents, and Dr. Dorina is one of those people. So, besides that, she was recognized as the Teacher of the Year in Florida. If you ever have been lucky to see her in person, you come alive not just with strategies, but one word: belief in your students, belief in your colleagues, belief in your purpose. And she will talk about that today in Radical Self-Care. She'll start off with saying, like, I have a double chin and let's begin. And I'm not sure if she'll say that again, but it doesn't matter because what she'll give you is not just double chin, but a belief in your practice. Dr. Dorina, take it away.
Oh my goodness, what an entry. That was unbelievable. First of all, everybody, if you can, put your hearts up, put hearts in the chat for Dr. Katie Topple, for Dr. Carasalva, and for the legendary Tan. Please do that. I see so many amazing people. Sarah Hammond, Emma, Nicole, Sandra, Michelle, Denise Furlong in the house. We see Amanda. We see Angela Getz, my girl. Jennifer Frankweck is there. Viviana is here. Linda. I feel like I'm youngins, you have no idea what I'm about to say, but I feel like I'm in romper room and I have my little mirror. I just want you to know, but youngins, Google that one. But otherwise, we're good. I got my messy bun, so let's have some fun. And I got my double chin. I'm going to dive right in. And I'm going to tell you that I'm very excited to be here. So while I share my screen, if you don't mind, could you, in fact, lift up the beverage of choice? I don't know what's in there. It's a Saturday. You know, it's brunch time. Lift it up. You could have protein things. Of course, Michelle's story's gonna have a protein thing going on there. But whatever's in this cup, enjoy it because it's a Saturday. All right. And let's toast to each other right now, shall we? Here's to all that we do. Here's to all that we did. And here's to everything that we're going to be doing 26-27 school year. School has not started yet. So if any of you are in your classroom setting it up, unless you're getting paid for that, you should be drinking on a Saturday. Tea, of course. Tea, of course. Here it is, everybody. So enjoy yourselves. Elizabeth, thank you for laughing at me, with me. Doesn't make a difference as long as you're laughing, and that is a key thing. Again, I toast to all of you. Nastrovia, salud, and slancha. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's go and share my screen and give you the time of your life for this one right now. Here we go, everybody. All right. Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat that you can see my screen? I want to make sure everybody is there. All right. Little thing going down. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited that you're all here. And now what we're going to do right now is to just discuss. This is exactly what thank you so much for the screens. This is exactly what everyone said. Okay, Dr. Katie said, Dorina, what are you going to do in the morning to get us going? And I said, Dr. Katie, this is, I think, what's going to happen. So here's exactly what we're going to focus on today. And I want to make sure that we do go back and do that. The fact that it is recorded, you can do your own dopamine cross out if you want to make sure that we did, in fact, cover all of these things. And what we don't cover, feel free to reach out to me. Let's Zoom and wine. We can Zine and let's discuss what we would like so that we can say, you know what, I want more about radical self-preservation. What did you mean about being rooted? It's a lot of fun with that. Thanks, Leander. Thanks, Tina. So let's get ourselves started and enjoy ourselves in this entire journey. What a great day we're going to have. So without further ado, this is me on a good day. Saturday, no makeup Saturday. So this is me, a little bit about myself. You could read right there. And I'm very proud to say that I was just actually one of 7 of the National Teacher Hall of Fame finalists. And that just recently happened. And I have some people actually in the chat that I invited from my beautiful cohort that are here as well. And I want you to know that one of the biggest parts of what I do is to take reluctant content area teachers, the arrogantly ignorant and the innocently ignorant, as Paulo Freire says, and I use best practices, real talk, my Joey Bag of Donuts New York accent, and I take trust with culturally sustainable pedagogical practices and my experience with a lot of fun, and that trust makes them go, you know what? I didn't realize that, and now I understand through my lens of life what I need to do for the equitable education of MLs. And that's all we're looking for. And sometimes that means getting uncomfortable, and that's okay. So that's what we're going to do. We might get a little uncomfortable. We might have to get people to get a little uncomfortable, but I'm so tired of people being safe in their bubble in these worlds now. So I want to make sure that we kind of get them out of that bubble just a little bit to make them talk about equitable education. You need to contact me. I'm right there. And there's also, if you'd like to sign up for a few things, there is the QR code right there for a new book that's coming out. And I'm also raffling off a tiara today because we are royalty, and that is exactly what should happen. But just so you know, that's the pretty picture that, you kind of edit just a little bit. This is me normally. So I just want you to know when we have ourselves, I'm kind of giving you that little talk right there. So we want to keep things real as possible. So here we go. Here's a little warm up for all of us is that my students have always called me Dr. Dorito or Miss Dorito. And basically what happens is I wear a lab coat every day for school. And then I would put Miss Dorina in the first days of school. But in my pocket was crunching a Cool Ranch Dorito. And I had the Dorito package and I kind of took it out. They saw the Dorito packet. They saw Miss Dorina, and as multilingual learners coming in and acquiring the English language and learning, they associated Dorina with Dorito, and then Dorito happened. And there it was. And then I became Dr. Dorito. And I tried to do this every single year, and it always wound up being Dorito instead of Dorina. And it's funny because when students are learning, they might say chicken instead of kitchen. They might say Chinese food instead of Chinese, happy birthday instead of birthday. And those are all beautiful signs that students are thinking about their thinking, called meta language. So they're thinking about the thinking in order for them to actually bring that language out. So I want to give you a little story about the Dorito etymology. Why not? We're talking about language learning, are we not? So I just want you to know, as we know in Spanish, dorado is golden. And then which we also have is doradito is like that little golden, then doraditos are the little goldens. And then if you kind of put it together with the do, with the oro, with the gold and the ito, becomes Dorito. But I want to ask you something. This is where you now do your research. And in your chat, I'd like you very quickly Google etymology of Doritos and then tell me, where was the Dorito invented? Tell me anything. Just throw up in the chat to get that chat moving, get our bodies moving, get our brains moving. Where were Doritos invented? Tell me something crazy about Doritos. Not a personal thing, an actual fact thing that you can find on your Google. Go for it. Go for it. Thanks, Jennifer. Go for it. What do you know about Doritos? Yes, Michelle Shorey. It was founded in Disneyland, Nicola, in the 1960s. Yes, in Anaheim, California, everybody. In Disneyland. Well done. Produced in 1966. Look at all the data we're learning here. Jennifer Sierra, the cut and paste was brilliant. How did you do that so quickly? I'm so proud of you. Now you could look at the chat and see it was a chip created, but there's an original name for that. Yes, Casa de Fritos in Disneyland. Well done, Vina. So the stale tortillas, there it is. They're the highest selling chips in the world. Everybody is learning something. So as you look back in that chat, look what we're doing. We're learning about one little thing, a Dorito. We learned about the etymology. Now all of you were the researchers trying to figure that stuff out. And you learned from other people as well. This is the model of what we want to see in multilingual classrooms. The collective agency of understanding and cheating a little bit. Because cheating is a good thing when you're learning something, because we're not trying to give anybody stress. We just want them to understand. And this was great. Look at this. The first flavor was tossed corn. Look at Mary Ellen with the eyes. This is so great. Now in the chat, I'd like to ask you, what did I just do for the past minute and a half? Anything that you feel is something that's a positive part, the appreciative inquiry and asset-based aspect of what I did for right now in these first 2 minutes. Yeah, it was an icebreaker, engagement, engaged, excellent. We know it's part of it. But do we do it? Involved, invitation to learning, chef's kiss, energy, affirmation. I'm not asking you to teach like the Tasmanian devil on a double espresso like me, but I am asking you to maybe put those things together. Collaboration, you're all doing it. But do we do it? Are we consistent with what we do? And that's why I'm so honored what Tan said, because he has seen me speak and said, you're consistent in your energy, which is great, because tomorrow, like right after this, I'm probably going to crash. I'm going to hang out with my goats. But here we go. I'm going to say this is so exciting that you all did it. And prior knowledge, lower effective filter. It's fun. Tan with my fainting goats, he understands. So now we're going to break away from the Doritos just a little bit, but I will tell you, Dr. Diane Fenner, who we know is an amazing human being, said that when she went to Germany, Doritos are called cool Americans in Germany. I thought you'd like that fact. All right, so let's talk about some Summit royalty here. I want you to just put any chat in the chat box, just a Yahoo, a woohoo, any sort of automatopoeia. Any sort of automatopoeia. Don't just put just a symbol. Automatopoeia, when you see what you teach, even if you're a coach or an admin, where are you in this? And if you do more than one, just keep going. But I want to see the woo, whippa, yahoo, woo, woo, automatopoeia. Here we go. Pre-K2, come on, are you in the house? 3 to 5, you in the house. Oh yeah, you're raw, Sherry. What, Katie? Gulp, Denise McCabe. 6 to 8, you in the house. 9 to 10, you in the house. Yes, Glorian. Woo! Oh yeah, admin, you in the house? I hope you are, because that's what we really need. Admin to be coming to the ML summits. And any rock star other. Ding, ding, ding. Way to do. Bam. Woohoo. That's it. Yeah. Wah. That's what Dorina makes me do. See that? Now, what did I just teach? Automatopoeia. Now everyone knows it, right? And it's great. And you'll always have the Puerto Rican automatopoeia. Wepa! And if you have a cultural automatopoeia, throw it in there as well, please, which I actually would love. So that is fantastic, everybody. And on the other side, we'd want to know, we also have massive royalty, which we know. Are we ready to learn from Tan and Elise today? What amazing things we're going to go. So stick around for the whole place, and we're just going to have too much fun. So with that, I'm super excited, and I do want you to watch something very quickly. And when you do see this, please watch and then just tell me what you see. I hope that you can see this. Everybody's good. Let's just press play and see if you can see this. So if you did see that, I'm going to do it one more time. And I'm going to stop right there and ask you, what did you see? What did you see in there? Anything, just show me what you saw. What did you see in this? Growth? There it is. I love it. Sparks? I love it. See, already you're excited about ML Summit. You already know back in your mind you're going to be learning something. So there's this preconceived idea and this predisposition of, well, this has symbolism. Something's going on. We're doing something here. A pine cone reproducing. Ironic that it's the fire. Oh, come on now. Exactly. And I want to make sure that I'm also making sure everyone feels safe about it. I know there were some fires coming along in Canada, and I want to make sure everybody's okay and safe. But there is something that says, there is something to say about fire under certain types of pine cones, my STEM teachers. So I want to make sure I have everybody all right that I am going to mention that. And thank you for mentioning that as well. So let me go back and change this and say that we are going to plant the seed just a little bit and ask you a few things. We already did in the chat when you came in, where are you from? But here's my first lesson as well, okay? Want to make sure, Tan, you can see this without the optimizing, right? It looks clean? Good. So where are you from is quite often something that we say. And that's why I want to ask you have pine trees, where you are from. You can put a Y or an N if you have pine trees wherever you are from. And let's see if we see a lot of yeses or a lot of nos. Look at that. Pine trees are everywhere, which is wonderful. Remember that when we talk about this. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, we often hear people say, where are you from? Where are you from? And that's something right now used to be a normal thing. Oh, wow, Tan, that name. Oh, wow, it sounds familiar. Where are you from? But where are you from nowadays, especially with students, can be very difficult to answer. And sometimes children are afraid to answer that question, as are parents, especially right now in the United States. Where are you from? Where are you from? Whoa, that sounds like an attack. Wait a minute. I don't know if I want to say anything because my parents taught me not to say anything because of certain circumstances that are going on in the world right now. So where are you from is no longer a safe statement. And sometimes where are you from, as my husband often gets, where are you from, is a comfort for the other person asking the question so that they can create their own, oh, I feel comfortable in my bubble now because I know he's not this, but he is this, which gives me freedom to do this. And we have to remember that sometimes where are you from is a comfort for the other person, not curiosity. So instead of saying where are we from, and we must make people privy to that as well, why some people ask where are you from, we have to ask a number one thing to say for next year. Think of it when children don't feel comfortable, but watch the subtle thing of the picture. When you do say, besides here, tell me about a place that feels like home to you. That difference, I'm sure Elise will talk about in her trauma-informed practices and the importance of really knowing our students, right? Just something besides here. Tell me about a place that feels like home to you. And it might not be exactly home, home, home to someone because someone might be in a refugee camp right now and home is something else, but maybe they feel safer in the refugee camp than they actually did in the Gaza Strip. Or maybe they feel safer somewhere else. So that's why it's important for us to see that besides here, tell me about a place that feels like home to you. Thanks, Jennifer. So ask you very quickly in the chat. Besides here, besides Tennessee, British Columbia, Atlanta, all the places you all said, where else is home? Or maybe that is home to you, your la right here. So you want to say that one. Feel free. Where is home? Beside my dogs. Do you see that? And as you're writing that, look at the subtlety of the picture. Look at these babies right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See the difference? Oh, no. Don't ask me where I'm from, but oh, yeah. Ask me for besides here. Read everybody's. Look at that. Now, I just gave you this unbelievable feel of serotonin, a leadership, right? The neurotransmitter that helps you feel like a leader and a boss. And then the oxytocin, the neurotransmitter and neuroscience that lets you know that you feel safe. You need to oxytocify your classrooms. And that's not a word, I just made it up. But yes, to make sure that they feel safe as much as possible so that we can plant the seed of our MLs. Now, I normally don't read slides, but this is being recorded, and some people might be driving while they're listening. So I want to make sure that I'm going to read this out loud, but I really don't want to. Tan, can you read this for me? Would you mind?
I sure can. Planting the seed for our MLs. The first few weeks before school begins, and the first few weeks are not just about classroom pretty, setting norms, making students feel comfortable that they are about creating the conditions that help all of these things take root. You cannot grow ML practice in a closed pine cone. First, we create the conditions for teachers to open from the
Yes, and
pine
my
tree.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much. And my grammar was terrible when I wrote that. There were no commas. So that's why someone else reading that might not have made sense. Thank you, Tan. I appreciate it. And thank you for accepting my errors. So I appreciate that as well. So that is important. So this is really important. We create the conditions for us to feel comfortable and other people. And this is called pine tree pedagogy. Remember that pine tree opening. I know some of you with the STEM teachers and science teachers are loving this right now because you never get that credit in the PD. It's always about ELA, isn't it? But here we go for the jack pine. If you have jack pines in your state, put a Y. If you don't, you can listen why. It would be great. So I'd love someone, I don't know, Sarah Hammett. Could you read this for me? Would you like to? Because you're so beautiful and wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. You can just come off mute.
Sorry,
Yeah.
there we go. So jack pine, some jack pine cones are serotinous for fine, meaning they are sealed with resin. They may stay closed for a long time. They often need high heat, sometimes from fire, to melt the resin and force the cone open. Only then are the seeds released.
Very well done. And Sarah, I'm going to ask you a quick question about this, and then the check will be in the mail. I promise you. I mean, this really was so impromptu, but how can you put this together? Jack pine cones, right? That they need just a little bit of heat, and that in order for them to open, for the seeds to actually fall. How can we use this as a metaphor for either teachers or students? What do you think, Sarah?
Well, making our ELs comfortable, making sure that they have a safe environment. They're going to be willing to take the chance to open up or to answer or raise their hand even and participate in order for them to bloom.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And if you want to give a heart to Sarah, thank you, Sarah, so much on that in the chat. It would be really great because participation is so key. And one of the other parts is, guess what? You need a little bit of fire under their butts to get them working. So be careful of your pobrecita syndrome, people. Okay, we need a little TLC squared. That's tender loving care and tough love culture. All right? Because if we only focus on the tender loving care because they're our kids. Yes, our kids, not your kids, not my kids, our kids. If you start saying my kids all the time, people are going to treat them like your kids only. If it is our kids collectively, everybody has to put that fire under their butt a little bit in order for them to break open like a pine cone. The seeds fall, which are pignoli nuts. They're delicious Italians. We love them. I can make cookies for you when you invite me to your house or your school district, whatever one you want to do, but I digress. The point is, the seeds fall and then it starts to grow. It is so powerful because we are all, in fact, the pine tree and the pine cone. So if we see that, we see pine cone planting for equitable excellence of our multilingual learners and our ML teachers. Do I have a courageous participant that is willing to learn if I can see their face? Linda Mayer, would you like to read for me?
You bet. The pinecone planting for equitable excellence in the education of our MLs and our ML teachers. Protection comes first. Potential is already inside. Release happens when conditions are right. Some growth requires pressure, warmth, or even disruption. And the seed cannot do what it is meant to do if it stays trapped inside forever.
Now, I'm going to challenge you on this one as well, Miss Mayer. How, when the last part, the seed cannot do what it is meant to do if it stays trapped inside forever? How can we put that when it comes to language acquisition and language learning? What do you think, Miss Mayer?
I would say that once our MLs are comfortable, we need to challenge them and allow them to be challenged, force them to be challenged.
Yes, I love the word force. That was absolutely brilliant. And we want to give a heart for Miss Mayer as well, because Tom is going to kind of talk about all that stuff, because when he gets into the linguistics side, him and Beth Skelton write the most incredible books. Please make sure you get them. They are amazing. And his work is really down to the linguistic sides of it as well. But then that blend of what Dorina and Elise does all together. So you got this sandwich of beautifulness coming up in this ML conference here. Thank you so much. But if you can see, potential is already there. It just needs that fire, right? So, Carol Salva, could you possibly read about the pinecone pedagogy for me if you're not too busy?
Oh, I'm not too busy. Thank you, Fran. A pine cone protects its seeds until the conditions are right for release. In many pine trees, cones open through warmth and drying. In some, like jack pine, it may take intense heat for the seeds to be released. The first 9 weeks with MLs work much the same way. Many teachers have the potential to support MLs well, but their confidence may still be closed inside layers of stress, misunderstanding, or limited training. The admin role is to provide the conditions that help that potential open. Practical strategies, content, language connections, co-planning, modeling, encouragement, and small doable next steps. But you are the pine cone.
Oh, that was so beautifully said. In the chat, when it comes to new teachers, because I know there's a new ML teacher here, hello and welcome. There's a lot of new teachers here, or new to your position, or new to your grade level. How does this pinecone pedagogy resonate with you? Resonate. Do you see what I did there, STEM teachers? Resonate. Elizabeth, you liked that one, didn't you, Elizabeth Straub? Thank you very much. How did this resonate with you? Let me know in the chat. Thank you, Denise. That's the whole point of the keynote, and you want to thank the team there because that's why they asked me. This is about supporting the teacher, and we're going to get to that in the next 3 minutes. So that's perfect. Yes, very well said, everybody. Hopeful. Excellent, Rebecca. Excellent, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Yes. Yes. But a veteran to that. Wow, we support you. Yes, Christina. We know we say the front part of it, okay, well, this is to support, but now this is what the ML Summit is about, to give you the ideas and the wonderful strategies for that support. Growth mindset, yes. Proper places and conditions, yes, you need that. With that fire, TLC squared, tender loving care, tough love culture. Come on now. That is it, Angela. Admin. That is why if there's admin you need to just give this as a gift with admin and say, please watch the ML Summit, because admin can learn so much from this, because sometimes the innocence of ignorance who defer to your expertise, that's what they do because they themselves are not educated, but roster equals responsibility, including admin. And if you have MLs, you should not be innocently ignorant to the ways of ML and defer to the ML teacher. Know that we're going to get to why we have to set that boundary very, very, very quickly. Excellent, everybody. I'm going to keep on going with the interest of time because this is almost like a 3D professional learning that I just actually did in Texas, in Frisco, Texas, at Frisco ISD. So I'm really excited that I can share this information with you. So with that, we're going to go and show you the different things. We had two other things before this, which was the where are you from, and then the pinecone pedagogy ideology. Now I want to show you the balance in the first 9 weeks about teaching, your personal and professional, so that I can really check off the list of what this entire couple of minutes are with each other. Personal, we have to always remember the importance of gratitude. That is a very key thing, but please make sure how many people have watched Wheel of Fortune. Before 1988, you were allowed to choose whichever letters you wanted, but everybody chose the same letters every time in the Wheel of Fortune. RSTLNE. Everybody did. But interestingly enough, we have that in gratitude. My family, my health, right? Always. There's always three major for gratitude: family, health, my faith. Family, health, my house. There's always family, health, which is an absolute non-negotiable. But when it comes to gratitude, according to neuroplasticity, it actually, after 21 days of writing down, no notebook, no one little, whatever they call that, my Chromebook. Oh my God, ELMLs should not be always having Chromebooks, but that's for another presentation for another time. You have to think to yourself, what are you grateful for in a full sentence? See, I'm doing it here, full sentence. I want you to simply, in the chat, in the interest of time, you do not have to write the full sentence, but I'd like you to think of three things other than family, faith, and health, or family, faith, and house, or family, faith, and money. I'd like you to think of what you're grateful for. And you could say something like, I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful for the summit. I'm grateful that I can be beside my dogs. I'm grateful for fainting goats. All different things. What are you grateful for honestly, deep within you before you even start your day? Quickly, you have 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, engage. Wow, Carol, thank you for that. Wow. Beautiful. I feel you, Sarah. I see you on that one. Artemis, thank you so much. Beautiful. Yes. Oh, Curdy. Oh, Curdy. Yes. And World Cup, right? You and I connected on World Cup this whole time on in the controversies of World Cup, but I digress. Time to reflect, Candace. My PLN, Jennifer. Ability to create. Wow. Yes, Roundtree. Fiona, grapefruit. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Sandra, exactly. To grow old. And if you ever watch The Age of Adeline, what a fabulous movie. And that is one of those things right there with that. Oh, I love it. Yes, Curdy. Marilyn, beautiful. Oh, Spain winning. Oh, felicitaciones. Que legal. Nossa, que linda. Garden veggies, Marilyn, beautiful. Pamela. See? Do you know what you're doing right now? As you're doing this and you're reading others, your whole body is feeling better. Your whole life, your brain, your gratitude automatically positions you into a place where you're ready to start the day. And if you do this 3 times a day for 21 days, according to neuroscientist Arturo Hernandez, a bilingual neuroscientist, he actually says after 21 days, you're going to start feeling less burnt out and you're more burning in, as I say, for your students every single day. Practicing this gratitude alone is a beautiful thing. Your coffee, your candle, your dogs, your petting your cat, doing what you need to do for you to feel that gratitude will automatically change how you interact with others that I know it can be difficult when advocating for MLs. And yes, it's so beautiful, right, Marilyn? It's just wonderful. You get emotional by seeing the gratitude that you all have besides your health and the beauty of just being with family, friends, and faith, right? And I just want you to know how much I appreciate and have gratitude for this opportunity to say all this to you. And as you read this chat, it is just beautiful, just stunning. And then professionally, once you see that gratitude, you would talk about what you believe. And that is a non-negotiable. What you believe is a key factor. And I'm not going to go through this one in the interest of time, but I want you to screenshot this. I know there's going to be a recording, but I want you to screenshot this, shoot this, shot, shoot, whatever. And then you have ourselves seeing an expert in the field of do. Your name uses there, because here we are an inclusive space where you can use whatever pronoun you wish. Da-da, years of diddy. List your experience, and da-da, keep giving more, show up, accolade, time to shine, to da-da. Therefore, as an advocate and activist for multilingual learners, I believe what? Sit on this. Have your gratitude and think about this, because this should be under your email and signature, not something from Desmond Tutu, God rest his soul, but just this should be outside your classroom so people know what you believe the minute you walk into the classroom. The minute you're at a PLC, you all write down what you believe. You put it on an actual what do you call those when you laminate, and you laminate a 5x7 index card, and maybe it might change over the 181 days that you're a teacher or an educator or a coach. And then you share with everybody before you even sit down for your PLCs. You share this with everybody before you even sit down for a parent conference, because people have to know where you believe, what you believe, because that's your non-negotiable. Then they'll say, okay, I understand where she's coming from. Then the conversations would be better. Go, Carol, go. So you took that screenshot, ready? Okay, it's all set. And now we can go to the next one. I know this is tough for me to go really quickly, but I am so honored that I even have this 45 minutes with you, and I have 6 more to go. Personal, we also have the words of affirmation. One of the key things besides gratitude is this. There's something called Lavender. I'm going to put it in the chat. Lavender. She's an incredible young woman who actually wants you to have words of affirmation every day. And when I walk my dog, I listen to her every morning for 12 minutes. And for 12 minutes, it has transformed me. And I want you to see the world needs exactly who you are. You possess unique and special talents. Your self-esteem is built on what? These are just 3 examples of words of affirmation. You can ask ChatGPT and AI after they get to know you, or Claude gets to know you, have them ask questions about who you are, what you possibly your insecurities are. That's where AI is a positive. And then turn around and say, could you give me about 10 words of affirmation? 10 phrases that it can help me? Yes, Carol, I love her too. Imposter syndrome, Candace. Maybe you want to write that to AI and say, Claude, help me overcome imposter syndrome. Could you please give me some words of affirmation? You do your gratitude, your words of affirmation. I promise you, you will be a freaking, can I say freaking here? Yes, I hope everyone knows that doesn't mean anything else. A freaking powerhouse when you, in fact, have your words of affirmation and your gratitude and knowing what you believe. And then, of course, in your professional side, amplify using this. Let's take a look at the next one. Come on. This is now, if you would like to put a word of affirmation, a words or phrases that mean a lot to you that might influence others, please put it in the chat right now. Please do that. I would appreciate it. And your vision and values while you're doing that is, in fact, looking at this. So take your time, read this, but I would like Elizabeth Straub to actually read it out loud. And if you don't mind, Elizabeth, please do, while everyone else puts in the chat maybe some words of affirmation or responds about how they feel about planting a seed for advocacy. Elizabeth?
Sure. While there are many challenges facing MLs in the current political and educational climate, as an asset-based advocate who believes in appreciative inquiry, I focus on uncovering and amplifying news that calls to the unique strengths, experiences, and cultural richness that multilingual learners bring, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and inclusion. Some examples are.
And you own that. Thank you very much, Miss Straub, Miss Elizabeth. I appreciate you. All of this is what you should be working on in your first 9 weeks. That's why I have myself in the middle with the 9 weeks. You need to memorize this as your elevator speech, if you will, because through appreciative inquiry, which really is just constantly an asset-based ideology, everything is positive, not negative, right? English is not my first language, not I don't speak English. If you say I don't speak English, fine. The power of yet. We all know those things. Tan has his story, and he talks beautifully about that. And the power of all of this is when you have this written somewhere, maybe even below what you believe, No one can mess with you because you will always be asset-based. Because you know one of those, just Sharius is driving me crazy today. But you can turn around and say, but man, that means he challenges me as an educator. So that's okay if he drives you crazy. DeSharius might drive you crazy, but he challenges you as an educator. And you want to think about that when you have the lens of appreciative inquiry. This is a very powerful piece. And you know what's even more powerful? Reading that chat, right, Tan? If you see that chat with all of those people, it's unbelievable. All the beautiful words that you're saying with each other, which leads to the next part. In order for you to do all this, you have to end this aspect of gratitude and words of affirmation with a personal thing that you can do for yourself before you even begin. But all of this should be taught with kids. You should teach this on little 5x7 index cards that you laminate with a vis-a-vis marker. Youngins Google what vis-a-vis looks like and what it is. And a vis-a-vis marker that they can write down sentence frames about how they feel or what they're grateful for. But also when I have children and in close of me, when I have a little bit of my dysregulation as a late diagnosed ADHDer, you think, it's important for me to breathe. And important for me to breathe, put a yes if you know what square breathing is. Put a yes in the chat if you know what square breathing is. A lot of you do. Excellent. Because the majority do, and I have not seen an N. I'm going to go for it and just say very quickly, you go in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, rest for 4, and you do it in a count of 16. Doing the math, you do it 4 times. So we're going to practice only once right now, everybody. Okay, if you just want to help me with me, and if you're already there and I see your beautiful face, what you're going to do is you're going to go in like this and hold for 4, in for 4, and I'm going to count. You're going to hold for 4, out for 4, and rest. Anytime you're feeling like you're going to, because someone is taking you out to interpret and they say, can you translate for me? Which is not even translate. If anyone ever says translate, by the way, you have to say, where's the piece of paper? Where's the paper? Translate is paper, interpret is speak. Let the people know. Yes. So now that we know that, let's do it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Hold. Out. And rest. This is exactly how we should be really centering ourselves when it's time for us to teach our kids. And when we do that, we then have our boundaries so that we burn in, not out. I want you to think of the fire underneath that pine cone. And that fire is there, and that flame is what gets the pine cone to open. But interestingly enough, when you have a fireplace amongst the pines and you are just there and having a nice fire and you're just there roasting marshmallows, guess what? The marshmallow will burn with that big fire flame. But if you just put it right where the embers are, that's the warmth from within the fire. That's you from within, burning in the embers of the fire and the flame of teaching. You can teach with your hair on fire every once in a while, like I'm doing for a keynote. But sometimes I have to just do the embers from within, where the warmth really is. That's how you want to think about education. Sometimes you'll burn with the flame, but the truth is the warmth is from within. As you take care of you, as you do and focus on you this year for your 181 days, yes, it's the oxygen mask on first ideology, but it's important for us to have boundaries and then also know what your boundaries are with your job description. I don't have very much time for this one, so take your screenshot. But this is an example. Some of you are Telpas or you're not WIDA states, but I want to honor the WIDA aligned just to say it that way. You would take a picture of this and you would in fact say, okay, this is a sample, but I kind of want to rewrite it myself, which is your role for the first 9 weeks. Because every time we get our certificate, we sign a contract and it tells us what our role is, like able to carry 75 pounds or whatever they say in our actual description of our job. But no admin ever tells us, what is my description as an ML teacher? How much am I going to do? Because this is what I believe I should be doing, because you know more than anybody, we are the ones that get pulled out, pushed in, doing this, acting as the CRT, acting as the compliance, acting as the access testing, acts as this, Calgon, take me away. Youngins, Google that one. And you will see, Mitchell, exactly that we must know what our actual description is, and talk to your principal and say, I realize I wear many hats. And I know you need me more than I need you. However, I need a description because incremental is monumental. In the first 9 weeks, what am I responsible for outside educating these children? These meaning the children on your roster. What is my role? Because I don't want to deviate from that. In order for me to be equitable, in order for me to not burn out, I would like to burn in. I want to be an ember teacher, not a fire teacher. How do we do this? And I love that you have a protective role, Candace. So maybe we should learn from you and how your admin does that. I am not bashing admin. Please understand that. This is not a disclaimer. This is the truth. I am calling in, not out. Never call anybody out. Only Kanye does that. When you call in, what you're doing is you're letting that person call in. You're making them think from within. That's why. Let me call you in on something. I don't really like the way that you said that to me. Or I'm going to call you in. It's a little too close to the Canadian fires. I don't know if you should have used this. Call you in. And I sensitively talk to somebody. Calling out is, I can't believe she did that. Right? And so these are the things where we want to make sure our job descriptions, which are subject to change, and then by the end of the 9 weeks, you revisit it for the other 3 other 9 weeks if you're a 9-week, 4-quarter school. And then by the end, you can build your portfolio by saying, did I accomplish those things? And have your dopamine checklist that you did. This is your educational plan. And this helps with your evaluation. And it's proof right there. And you're collectively with your leaders showing how you can have better results when less is more in education of MLs. Except for the love. There's always a lot of love. So why and how can we do this? Again, we have to go from personal to professional in our 9 weeks. And that is, of course, your daily dose. I wish I remembered my source because teachers should always remember where the source comes from. I want to give credit where credit is due. I apologize. I cannot find the woman who taught me this, but when I do, I will let you know. But I want to say this was not me and it was somebody else because we should all make sure we give credit where credit is due and model where our sources came from because we have a lot of kids on TikTok nowadays are trying to tell you that that's what they did when actually it was, Vygotsky's work, and then the 21-year-old is telling you that he did Vygotsky, but he never gave the source. But I digress. Daily dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Get your daily dose of dopamine. Do something that makes you feel competitive, makes you feel like, all right, what can I do? Something that makes you have a cliffhanger of a book, and then you don't read on more. You just go, oh, I can't wait till my lunch break so I can go read that book. Dopamine, oxytocin, where you feel safe. Pet your cat, pet your dog, pet your goat, love on somebody, give somebody a hug, receive a hug. It's a beautiful thing. Serotonin. Serotonin is a beautiful thing also. That's also when you have dark chocolate, when you feel like a leader, when you engage in adult activity. Serotonin is a beautiful thing for you to have. And of course, endorphins for the runners, you already know that. And of course, oops, I apologize. And then you already know what the endorphins are. And that is when you just really get yourself moving around and going. Carol Salva goes for walks all the time every morning. And she said it is unbelievable for her and what it does for her mental health. And that is the truth, going for that walk. So we know that. And then we also know for our professional to get our daily dose of that is to know our lens of life. I can't really talk about this a lot due to the interest of time. I only have a few minutes left, but I want you to know that your lens of life greatly impacts not how the world sees you, how you see the world. And we must know our 4 major pillars of our lens of life in order for us to take that lens off and see children for who they are. They are not the Guatemalan kid. They are Jose. They are not the girl with the hijab. Her name is Miriam. They are not the black kid. It's the kid in the gray sweater. You don't, unless they're okay with the qualifier. Why qualify when someone else around you or even you might have that implicit bias? I said implicit bias, as we should. It is only natural. And we already sometimes have those implicit or perpetuated stereotypes of things. I just did a program where I thought everybody thought the way I did in dual language when they do not. And I have to remember I had to take my lens off in order to see everybody for who they are. And we must teach this to the innocent and the innocently ignorant and arrogantly ignorant so that they learn to take their lens off and see MLs for children, not the country, not the war-torn country, not the disaster country, not the beautiful country, or not just the country itself, but for the child only. And that is a key factor. Number 7, because I know in the interest of time, this is my favorite one. I want you to think in personal about the differences between ritual and routine. Ritual is something you love doing, lighting that candle, saying your prayers, saying your meditation, going to walk your dog, not because it's a routine. A ritual can become a routine, and a routine can become a ritual. Brushing your teeth, getting up, taking a shower, routine. Something that's routine for you. Know the difference between routine and ritual. And oh my goodness, I'd love to talk on this more, but that's just a presentation in itself. Once you know that difference, you can reflect and react is a difference as well. Making sure that you reflect on things rather than immediately react to them. And I think you can tell from my personality, I love to react. I must use the 444 and my gratitude in order for me to reflect on things. That will give me relief in a room where I want to just speak my mind rather than the regret. But in relief and reaction, reflect and relief is much better than react and regret. And we need to be careful when we advocate because we can get very hot-headed, and we know that. So when we step back for a minute and do our breathing, we'll be able to reflect with a lot more relief. And then reverence for resilience is just to remember when you're sitting in traffic and you see that person who has the stop and the go and made you late for work because you decided to go get that Starbucks a little bit to play with time. Remember reverence. That person has a job, a family, a life too. And remember and show the gratitude for those other people. These are very, very important. Like I said, they're in a workshop on its own, but I wanted you to be aware of looking up what reverence is and talking about reverence. And I love the calling in, Helen. That was beautiful. And for the professional side of this, always remember that roster equals responsibility. Here are some samples of routine, react, regret, just to take a look. I'm just going to take a sip, and I've been talking too much. Just read that very quickly. I have a couple minutes so we can get to the about 3 minutes left. And this is the big part of that. When you think of all of this, this is a lot to take in. It's a lot of stuff going on right now. And with that lot of stuff, I love making Lay Turner smile, and it's a nice thing. And when you think about the lot of things to take in, I want you to just reflect. That is my beautiful old senior dog. I will only adopt senior dogs for the rest of my life now. I love them so much, and they give me such peace. Yes, Tan, it was beautiful. And when you see that reflection amongst the pines, these are the things that make me reflect on my French and all the animals that are there and the bugs that look like Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. I have all the different things there. I talk about rural education and equitable education for all students. But most importantly, as we reflect on things, I want you to look at this. I want you to think about you as an advocate for multilingual education as we go on, okay? Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Lay. Now, when I put the number 2, the OWDLES, that was because I was working with one-way dual language. It is for multilingual learners or dual language. I apologize for the typo. But I want you to take a look at these very strong pictures about advocacy and how you should. Am I the silent observer as an ML educator? Am I the cautious participant or the courageous disruptor? And the courageous disruptor is someone who also understands how to reflect over react so they have relief rather than regret. What am I protecting in hard conversations? Am I a people pleaser that doesn't want people to be mad at me? So what might I unintentionally be permitting with the inequitable education of MLs because I don't want to stir the pot? But if you know how to have and engage in these conversations, then that is a key factor that you can be the cautious participant, but the courageous disruptor with grace. And then do my actions reflect my beliefs? Back in the beginning, what do you believe? What is your non-negotiable? Do my actions reflect that? Or do I kind of let things slide and just go because of time or ramification, whatever it may be? These are the reflection pieces. And number 4 and 5, it's time to have conversations about equitable education. because we are in a time, and I know there's people from around the world. Taiwan, someone has a new home there, I heard. Someone from BC is here. Canada, we're all here. Other places in Canada. But in the United States, we know what's happening with multilingual learners, and it's carrying on. And we can learn from our families from around the world where that equitable education is. So I want you to recall and reflect before we finish a little bit. I need you to talk amongst yourselves again. I'm going to ask you a little questions. I know that you're all fabuloso, so I want you to do something very quickly. I want you to all spray 5 times like this. I just want you to spray 5 times. Then I want you to wipe the slate clean. And then I want you to just look at me and say, you're fabuloso, just like that, which is wonderful. But look what Pine Sol tried to do. They tried to make the same thing. And since we're talking about the pine tree path, I might as well just say we're talking about Pine Sol to keep us squeaky clean. But to plant the seed of all of this, the last one I want you to know, which we ran out of time for, was to talk about self-preservation and radical self-care. Well, the beautiful thing about ML Summit is I have something called a Fuel the Fire follow-up. Whatever and any time that the ML Summit team of Carol and Tan and Dr. Katie would like, I would like to invite you again to come into a Zoom and finish the conversation. 45 minutes is great, but I got more to say. I can't one and done. I want to think about the things that you possibly learned in the ML Summit and in our time together. And then we have another Zoom and you say, did you put something into practice? And when you do that, you will see that we don't focus on why we do what we do. We focus on the how. I am so tired of going back to school and people going, did you find your why? Let's go and revisit our why. We know why. We wouldn't be sitting where we are right now. We wouldn't be having a Saturday in an ML Summit if we didn't know why we love to do what we do. But with the ML Summit and good things of teaching this year, you have to ask your admin, yourself, and your team. It's not about why we're here. It's about how we get to the results we need to do and how we do what we do. We love being here. How do we do it? That's a key factor as well, and that's called reflequity. You reflect on your equity. Just so you know, I have to get this out only because we're about to finish, but these are some empowering sentences for you to interact so that you, in fact, can be the advocate that you want to be to preserve yourself, the integrity, and your profession. You're just gonna, I'm throwing them here. I'm not gonna discuss them because I wanna make sure they're there because it is a recording and you could look at number 1. You could look at number 2. You could look at number 5 for some reason. You could look at number 3. There it was. You could look at number 4 because I'm rushing. Thank you so much. And we're just putting them out there. You can read them on your own with the recording. And then you could look again at defining your boundaries, which is one of the key factors that made me a better teacher, made me a better communicator, even with my husband. Okay. These are just throwing them out there, just so you have it to stop, pause, and read it on your own, because true learning happens when, in fact, you are walking away from the situation. That's where the serotonin comes in. So I want to put all these slides in here for you to make sure that we do have it as we close for today. So with all of that, again, it's a lot to take in, and I want you to know, thank you, Sandra, that to plant the seed for this, I need you to reflect again and reflect on something that stood out for you right now and just put it in the chat before we exit today. What is something that you could say you left with very quickly that just stood out more than anything? Because I know you're like this. So we want to get to Tan and we want to get to the amazing Elise. What is something that stood out for you of what you kind of learned in this morning together? And then if I couldn't mind, could I have Sandra Crump read this for me, please? The pine cone, focus on the how. Go ahead, Sandra.
Planting the seed of advocacy. Can we make the font a little bigger?
Oh, I wish. I'm so sorry I can't. Do you want me to read it for you instead?
Let me see if I can try to get it a little bigger.
You got it. Thank you for letting me remember that next time I have you with us.
Yeah, I have my wrong glasses today, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay, bear with me. A pine cone does not release its seeds until the conditions are right. Neither do reluctant teachers. Our work is not to force openness. Our work is to create the conditions for it. Trust, clarity, modeling. Roster equals responsibility. 1 quarter at a time, 1 season at a time. Incremental is monumental. We are the warmth, the patience, the pedagogical pressure, even the fire that helps possibility open if you believe.
Oh, Sandra, that was so beautiful. And if you are a multilingual learner, a one-way dual language, two-way dual language, you must be the expert linguistic innovators who empower via empathy, example, equity, excellence, however you see it. Don't believe me? Just watch. Are you ready to begin the journey on the Pine Tree Path? Where you will in fact set that fire underneath yourself, your colleagues, your students, open it up and actually have that beautiful moment again that we did together, which is so beautiful. And I wish I could play it and see if I can one more time. Does it look different now that you know what we meant by the Pine Tree Path? Take a look very quickly. And that is a key thing for us to do, because when we do that and believe, we will be able to do it together. I invite you to join the Pine Tree Path with me if you're interested in signing up. The book will be coming out, and I can't wait to give anybody who wants to help with the journey on the Pine Tree Path. But most importantly, it really is for you to enjoy the ML Summit, to learn from everything, look at all the things and the little nooks and crannies and fabulous little nuggets that you learned here as you go on this path together. May you always enjoy this time together and always be the educator who leads to inspire and empower via empathy. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time, and always believe. Thank you so much.